All right, so portrait number 3, you are going to apply a filter to your background layer. So we're going to go over how to duplicate your original photograph because we do need to filter that photograph. The filters are located in the options panel. You can choose any filter. I would like you to go through several of them to kind of see, to pick out which one you like the best. You can change the scales to change different things in each filter. And then the color of the filter is going to come from the tools panel underneath. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. Before I show you though, I do want to go over some past student examples. So the filtering process is really easy with technology on your phones. All of you know what filters do, pretty self-explanatory. But you do have to use the brush tool on top of a filter. So just applying a filter is not going to be enough to get a high score on your Warhol-inspired portrait number 3. I have to see some sort of line work or some sort of brush work. This person did line work and added a shape in there. Just something to make it a little bit more unique in your own. Okay, this person chose several different filters to apply to themselves. They used the selection tool, selected various areas, and applied a filter to each of those areas. So you can see, just like portrait 1 and 2, lots of variations of this assignment based on the students. Oh, hi there. Can you come back in like 10 minutes? Yeah, because I'm teaching right now. Okay, cool. And sorry about that, picking up her portfolio, but a little busy right now. So depending on the filter is going to determine what kind of brush work you do. I'm not going to come up and tell you what to do because it's your own decision. There's no right or wrong. You get to pick what this looks like. But I will say that you need to add brush or line work to your filter. So that's the requirement. Okay, so those are some past student examples there. So in Photoshop, I'm going to go to my folder and open it that way. My folder, computer graphics. Let's see, what do I got here? Let's open up Warhol 1. Okay, I just need to bring up my layers here. So if you remember, I have my original photo here that is locked, and then I did an example of filling in with the brush tool and the paint bucket. I also did a demonstration where I did a different brush tool drawing and filled in with a new layer underneath that. So those are examples of my Warhol 2. Started my Warhol 3, didn't quite finish, or my Warhol 2 didn't quite finish it yet, so I can just lock that layer and hide it and just leave it there. So I need to apply a filter to my original photo. But for my situation, I am going to leave my original photo showing through with my brush tool drawing for my Warhol number 2. So I really don't want to alter this photograph because I need it for my Warhol 2. So if that's the case, it's a good idea to duplicate this original layer so that you don't do anything to it that's going to mess with your other ones. So there's a few different ways you can duplicate a layer. You can right click on that layer and you can duplicate layer and you can click OK. So you can see here that there's 2 of my originals here. I'm just going to delete that and show you a different way to do it. Okay, so there is, I deleted that. You can also take that layer and you can drag it and drop it into the new layer box, which is next to the garbage can, and it'll make a copy that way too. Okay, so I have a copy of my original. I'm going to unlock it. I'm just going to move it all the way to the top just so that my layers kind of stay organized, and I'm going to label this filter 3, because I'm going to apply a filter to this particular photo here. So with this layer selected, now notice the colors that I have going on here. I've got black and white. I'm going to change this just so that it's a little bit more dramatic so that you can see what that coloring does for the filters. So let's change it to orange and blue, let's just say. So I've got blue and orange here, and I'm going to show you what that looks like when we filter. So I've got my layer selected. I'm going to go up to the top to my options panel, and I'm going to click filter. Okay, and then there are some filters down here, but I like to go to the filter gallery. It's the third one down here. And it always does this, it zooms super far into your picture, and I'm not sure why. So in the lower left-hand corner, I just hit that minus sign so that I can see what this looks like. So right now, I have the palette knife filter. The stroke size is 25, the stroke detail is 3, and the softness is 0. And that's this filter that's on this photograph, okay? You can change the scales over here, and it will slowly apply that change to your filter. Sometimes changing those scales is really dramatic. Sometimes it's like, did I even do anything? It just depends on the filter. So you can click through here and you can kind of test out different filters. So this particular one, the colored pencil, that orange from my underneath here is showing through. So for the colored pencil filter, you are going to see some of that color come in. And again, I can change like the paper brightness. I can change the pencil width, the stroke pressure. You can even come up here and you can change your filters up here too. Or you can click these little flags open and you can apply other filters. So these all open up and there are examples of filters underneath here. Okay, bas relief, this is an example of a filter that applies both of these colors. So I get my blue and my orange in this particular filter. And I can, again, play with those scales to change the look of this. Once you find a filter that you like, you're going to hit OK, and it's going to apply that filter to that photograph. Okay, this one's kind of fun. I'm just going to kind of play around with the colors a little bit. Okay, I like this one. So I'm going to click OK to apply that. So you can see right here in my layers panel that that photograph is now changed to have that filter in it. So now I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to label this brush 3. And then this is where I'm going to go in and I'm going to enhance this filter using my brush tool. So maybe for this particular one, maybe I want to do, I don't know what color would go. I was thinking black, but that's kind of basic, but it will kind of go with this filter. So I can take the color black and I can start enhancing this, you know, maybe, I don't know, I probably don't have to outline absolutely everything because I'm going to have this photograph showing. So maybe I want to just outline like, you know, around his hair or around his face or around his shirt. You guys really get to decide what this is going to look like. There isn't a right or a wrong, just as long as you apply the brush tool to this, it should work out fine. And maybe I'm going to use this halftone brush. I'm too lazy to get my stylus out, so I'm doing this with my mouse, which is not ideal. I just kind of want to give you an idea of what this could look like. And this brush is pretty big, so maybe I want to make it smaller. It's a little bit more detailed. The number one question I get is like, well, how is this enough that I added to it? And that's a personal question and a personal answer. I can't answer that for you. If you have to ask if it's enough, the answer is probably no. You shouldn't have to ask if it's enough. You should know that it's enough. So I won't come around and say, oh, yes, that's good, but you should know. Okay, so this is what it looks like without my line drawing. This is what it looks like with. I could go through and add even some more detail, but that's Warhol portrait number 3. Let's see, it's 7:42. Let's say 8 o'clock. I'm going to have you guys take a break, and I'm going to show you the video on how to print and finish up the Warhol project. So I'll give you 15 hard work minutes, and then we'll take a little break. Not saying that you have to start printing at that time, just I think that'll be a good transition.